Hello everyone, welcome to Software Testing Help. I am Sharmila and in this video I am here to discuss about page object model in Selenium and the approaches without using page factory. Now let us understand why do we require page object model at first hand and what does page object model actually do to our automation testing framework and how did it gain its popularity. We should know that page object model basically is a design pattern. Okay, so there is a myth in the market saying it is a framework, but it is not such. It is basically just a design pattern that you use for your automation script. And as your name suggests, it deals with pages. Page object model deals with pages. So each page in your web application is created as a separate Java class. And using page object model also helps your script to be easily maintainable and readable to the user. So these are the main key points of why do we use page object model. So you should understand that it's a design pattern and you have pages wherein you create separate Java classes for it, and it also helps to maintain your script in an easier way. So now we will look why do we actually require page object model. I will show it with an example now. Now here I'm going to take you to the website amazon.in, and I'm going to take you to these links, your account, your orders and your wish list, and I've just scripted few test cases for those. So you can see I have scripted some 7 test cases for those components, right? So before performing an assertion on each test case, what do you think I need to do? That is something common. I need to sign in, right? Only after I sign in, I can go to these corresponding links, right? So in my sign in page, what do you think do we have? We will have a username field, a password field, and a login button, right? So here the flow goes like this. So once you sign in, only then you go to these pages. So what if there is a change in my username field? The expat change happens in my username field. Then what will happen? I need to change in all the test cases, all the 7 test cases. So this is my sign in page. Now say for example my username ID is changing from AP email to email ID. So that is a change in the value. So I need to change my XPath. So my XPath change will reflect here, will reflect in all the 7 test cases. Okay, so here my test case count is low, it's just 7. But what if that I'm having 100 test cases and I need to and I have a small change in sign in, and that is going to affect all my 100 test cases? Then my code rework is also huge, right? So in order to minimize that, I have an option, or I have a helping hand from page object model, wherein I can create separate pages for each Java page in my application. I can create separate Java class. So for login page, I will create a separate Java class, and each field I will declare as a variable. Similarly, the methods that I perform or the actions that I perform, I will declare as separate methods. So that is how basically a page object model is designed, wherein you put each page as separate Java class, and all the components that you're going to interact with in that page, maybe a web element or any locators, you declare it as a variable. So a one-time change will reflect all over in your test case, right? So that is the main reason that we use page object model, and this is why we say our script is easily maintainable. Is it easier to maintain, right? Now we got an understanding of why do we need page object model. We will see how to start designing the page object model pattern. Before you start designing, you should have these key points in mind. Every page in your Java application or your web application should have a separate Java class, and all the web elements or locators should be declared inside that particular Java class. Similarly, the actions that you're going to perform on those web elements, you declare as separate methods inside that Java class. So these key points you should have in mind before designing. So let me show an outline to you. How do we start designing this? I will go with this application, Pinterest. So I have a login page, home page, and after home page, I will have a search page. I'm entering the username password. I get the search page. Okay. So I'm going to start designing my page object model using this example. So basically, your page object model will have two layers, a page layer and a test layer. In the page layer, you will have your pages of your application, and in test layer, you will have your test cases scripted. Okay, or in other words, you will have two packages created. So let me name those packages like this: com.automation.pages and com.automation.test. So I will have two packages, and inside that I will have the Java classes. So as I told, for each page I will have a separate Java class. So in my example, I have a home page, search page, and account page, and I will have separate Java class for these. So I will have Java classes like this, and inside each Java class, what will we have? We will have web elements, right? The web elements and the corresponding methods acting on those web elements. So for home page, what will we basically have? A username web element, a password, and a login button. And the corresponding methods on these web elements will be, so here you can see I've just written sample methods, type username, type password, login, and then inside that I will write this implementation dot send keys dot click and all. So this is how you write inside each Java class. You write your web elements as separate variables and your actions that you're going to perform on the web elements as separate methods. Okay. So similarly, you will write it for search page and account page. Now, how am I going to access it from my test case? Now let me show it to you. Whenever you need to access variables or method from another class, how do you do it? You create a separate object, right? You create an object for that class and only then you can access, right? So similarly, I've created an object from my class homepage because I need to access these methods inside it in order to perform my test case. So once I create an object, I'm just calling the object. Using the object, I'm calling the methods inside it. So this is how you basically do. You write all your implementation inside your separate Java class for each page, and in your test case you create an object for that class and use the methods inside it. Okay, so I hope you got an understanding of the outline of how do you start structuring your page object model design pattern. Now I will show it to you in real time with example. So here I am just going to create two packages. One is for pages and other is for my test case. So now that I've created two packages, I will create my test Java classes inside it. So inside my com.automation.pages, I am going to create a Java class for my first page of my application, which is nothing but my login page. So I will create a class called login page.java, or let it be home page. So new class. So now I've created my home page inside my com.automation pages. And here, what should we do? Inside each page, you should write your web elements and also your methods, right? So I'm going to declare my web elements here. So I have my web element declared. I've just used by declaration wherein I've declared it using the XPath locator. Okay, so this is my email, password, login, and continue button. In my first page, my email, password, continue button. Okay. Next, I need to write the actions that I'm going to perform on these web elements. So here I'll send keys, here I'll send keys, here I'll click, right? So I will write corresponding methods for those actions. So here you can see that I've written corresponding methods that act on my variables separately. Okay, and here I need to declare my web driver globally. Let me declare my web driver object. So I say web driver and my object is driver. Okay, so now my Java class is created. I've created my variables, web elements as separate variables, and the actions that I'm performing on those variables as separate methods. Next, I will start creating my main test case. So here is my main test case. I'm going to create a new class for that, new class. So now I've created my class. I'll just start initiating my driver before my class, before my main method over here. Okay, so I have my main class created in add before test. I've initiated my Chrome driver. I've sent my URL pinterest.com. In at after test, I've closed my driver. So here I will start writing my test case. So my test case is I need to enter email, password, and click on continue button. So these I have written as separate methods inside another Java class, right? Type email, type password, click continue. So how do I access these methods? How do I access the methods from another class? I create an object, right? So let me create an object now in the main class. So now I've created an object. I can access its method. So I say home.type email. So here I'll pass the email. Similarly, I'm getting the email from the user and password from the user. So I'm passing it as a variable. So type password, some password. And then home.continue. Click continue. So here from the test steps, you can easily understand what I'm doing. It says homepage.type email, homepage.type password, which means you're typing your email, typing your password, homepage.click continue, and then you're clicking on continue. Does it make sense to the user? User can easily understand what the test case is doing, right? So that is why they say the script is easily understandable or readable to the user. Okay, so now here in your class that you have created, you can see that you have a driver over here. Okay, but you have to get the instance of this driver from the user. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a constructor inside the class. Okay, and I'm going to get the driver from my main class and pass the driver reference to the driver that I've set over here. Okay, so what will happen basically is that whenever I create an object for a class, so here in my main class I've created an object, right? So whenever I create an object for my class, here I'll pass the driver. The constructor of that particular class gets called. So if you're not sure, you can just click on control in your keyboard and just click open declaration. It goes to the constructor directly, right? So whenever an object is created, a constructor gets invoked. So inside the constructor, I've just added my implementation saying the driver in this class should take the driver from my previous class. So this driver, I'm passing it from my home page main class. So from my main class, I already declared or instantiated my driver. I opened my Chrome driver, and inside this driver, I need to perform my function. So I am telling take this driver instance. So I am passing the driver instance to my class, or which in turn passes to the constructor. So inside the constructor, I say take this driver reference and fix this driver's reference to the variable that is assigned over here. Okay, so my entire driver's reference will be taken from the main class. Okay, so that is why I've written a constructor wherein I'm mm, passing the reference from my main class to this class. So this keyword actually refers to the instance of your current object. So here this dot driver will refer to the instance of the current object, which is web driver of driver. Okay, so now I've just written my test steps. Let me run this and show it to you. Run as testng. So here you can see my Chrome driver is opening. Pinterest.site is getting opened. So email and password should get entered now. You can see email and password is entering. Okay. So this is how you write your test cases in page object model structure, wherein you create separate uh, package for your pages, and then you create separate package for your test cases, and inside your pages package you put all your pages that you're going to interact with, and all the methods that you're going to interact with, all the web elements and methods, and the implementation will be there in each page, and only the test steps you will mention in your test cases, so that it will be easier for the user to understand. So I hope you got an understanding of how do you start creating a page object model design pattern. In the next video, I will show you in detail about few more test cases using this page object model pattern and few more advanced concepts on this. Thank you.